Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into King Lear, Act 1, Scene 5.
Ooh, good one.
We're going to break down this scene and get you guys prepped to totally rock your next English class discussion.
Awesome. I love this scene.
Just to get us all on the same page, this is right after Lear makes that huge mistake, remember? Splitting up his kingdom based on his daughter's totally fake declarations of love.
Right.
Now, things are getting really messy.
They really are.
One of the first signs of trouble, I think, is how Lear's view of himself starts to shift.
Oh, yeah.
He actually says, "I will forget my nature, so kind a father." Like, whoa.
I know, right?
What's happening in Lear's head at this point, do you think?
It's really a powerful line, I think, because it shows how Lear's struggling with what he's done.
Yeah.
You know, his actions don't match up with the picture he has of himself as a good dad. He's trying to hold on to this image of himself, but it's crumbling around him. And that struggle, it's a big part of why he starts to lose his mind.
So he can't handle the truth, basically.
Kind of, yeah.
Like he's in denial.
Yeah. It's also really interesting to think about this in the context of Shakespeare's time.
Okay.
Back then, people believed in this idea called the great chain of being.
Right.
It was this belief that everything had its place in the natural order.
Oh.
And when Lear divided his kingdom, especially how he rejected Cordelia, it was like he was messing with that order.
Ah, I see.
And that's what sets off this whole chain of events that leads to chaos and, you know, Lear going mad.
It's like dominoes.
Exactly.
One wrong move and everything falls apart.
And this idea of disrupting the natural order, it's a theme that pops up throughout the whole play.
So it's important to keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, so then we have the fool entering the scene with his riddles and jokes.
Yes. The fool.
Is he just there for comedic relief? Or is there more to him than meets the eye?
The fool is so much more than just a jester. He's what we call a wise fool.
Okay.
Shakespeare uses him to speak truth to power.
So he's the one who can say what others are afraid to.
Exactly. He can call out Lear on his bad decisions.
Gold move, fool.
But he does it through humor, right? So it comes across as lighthearted, even though it's often a really sharp criticism of what Lear's doing.
Sneaky.
He's clever.
Like when he says, "Why put Lear's head in? Not to give it away to his daughters and leave his horns without a case?"
Oh, that's a good one.
Like, what does that even mean?
So he's using this image of a horned animal, probably an ox,
Okay.
to represent Lear's power, you know, his authority.
Okay.
By giving away his kingdom, it's like Lear has given away his horns,
Right.
leaving himself totally vulnerable, powerless, without protection.
It's a pretty harsh way of putting it.
It is, even coming from the fool.
It makes you think, though, can Lear even understand what the fool's really saying?
Right.
Or is he too stuck in his own denial?
It's a good question. He's definitely not in a place to be taking advice at this point.
No, I guess not.
And it's interesting how the fool can be so blunt with Lear.
Yeah.
But earlier in the scene, we see Lear himself being really careful with his words.
Oh, you mean when he's talking to Kent?
Yeah, exactly.
He tells Kent to only tell Goneril what she specifically asks for in her letter.
Right. Like he's trying to control the information flow.
He's lost control of everything else.
I know. That little interaction with Kent really shows how quickly Lear's authority is slipping away.
Yeah.
He's gone from being the guy who gives orders to the guy who's making requests.
This.
It is, and it highlights this shift in power that's happening within his own family.
It's like Shakespeare's showing us that power dynamics in families can be really complicated.
Absolutely, and he really dives into those complexities in King Lear.
It definitely makes you think about your own family, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And how things can change so quickly, sometimes when you least expect it.
Exactly.
Speaking of unexpected, let's talk about the end of this scene, those last lines from the fool.
Chilling, right?
That's a maid now, and laughs at my departure. Shall not be a maid long, unless things be cut shorter. What do you make of that?
I think it's such a brilliant example of how Shakespeare can blend humor and foreshadowing.
It's like he's hiding a dark message within a silly rhyme.
Exactly. On the surface, it seems like just a playful rhyme.
Yeah.
But underneath, there's this feeling of dread,
Oh, yeah.
like a warning about the violence and tragedy that's coming.
And Shakespeare definitely doesn't shy away from showing us the dark side of human nature.
He definitely doesn't.
This line is like a little red flag for the audience.
Like, hey, pay attention, things are about to get real.
It's like Shakespeare is giving us, the audience, inside information.
Right. We know something's brewing, even if the characters on stage don't.
Makes you wonder if Lear's downfall was inevitable.
That's a good question.
Did he set this whole tragedy in motion from the very beginning, with his bad decisions.
That's the question that keeps us coming back to Shakespeare, isn't it?
Like, how much control do we really have over our own lives?
And how much are we shaped by the choices we make?
Deep.
It's worth thinking about Lear's first big mistake, rejecting Cordelia.
Right back in Act 1, Scene 1.
Oh. Yeah. Could that one act of pride and bad judgment be what set everything else in motion?
Something to ponder as you keep exploring King Lear.
Lots to unpack in this play.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been fun.
See you next time.
Bye.